Mainline break. A mainline break alert is created when a weather track measures flow that exceeds the mainline break threshold for longer than the mainline break delay. Once your flow sensor is correctly installed and your point of connection is correctly programmed, you'll start working on the program settings for your main lines. And the first thing we do in main lines is set up your mainline break alert settings, specifically the mainline break alert mode, threshold, and delay. The mainline break delay is the set amount of time that the weather track allows your system to hydraulically balance before the alert assessment takes place. So during the process of irrigation, as one zone transitions to the next and the system dynamically changes its flow rate, the weather track allows a delay or suspends the alert assessment until the system balances out to avoid false alerts. The mainline break threshold is generally set 20 to 30% above the system's highest anticipated use. So if we use the example of our largest irrigation station on a controller, during normal irrigation, the assigned station value would be right in the middle of the expected irrigation range, and that station's high flow value would generically be 20% above that. This value is what I recommend using as your highest anticipated use. Then we add an additional 20% above that to create the mainline break threshold. So if our largest irrigation station irrigates at 10 gallons per minute, our station high flow threshold for that station would be 12 gallons a minute, and we'd set our mainline break for 14 gallons a minute. Then, if the system ever measured usage at 14 gallons per minute or above, for longer than the mainline break threshold, the mainline break alert would be raised. Then, if your mainline break mode is set to alarm in action, the weather track begins a two-staged analysis to determine the source of the problem. With stage 1, we stop all of the irrigation on the stations, but leave the master valve open for the delay period. Once that expires, stage 2 begins, where again we test the measured flow value, and if the mainline break condition has resolved itself, then we raise the mainline break alert on the stations that were running and continue on with the irrigation for the next scheduled stations. However, if after the delay period the mainline break condition continues, then we raise the mainline break alert on the master valve, close the master valve, and scrub all of the irrigation for the remainder of the water window. Only at the conclusion of this analysis do we send out the alert notification to any interested parties. Now, if your mainline break mode is set to alarm only, the weather track has the option to continue irrigating in spite of that alert, but will send out the notification to any interested parties. And if the mainline break mode is turned off, then no alert will be raised. Now, the mainline break alert is a critical alert that's designed to tell you that your irrigation system components have broken and your system is using more water than it was ever designed to use. So broken irrigation components are the most likely scenario. However, if you have manual irrigation on that system and somebody's out plugging in quick couplers or hose bibs, that can easily push the measured usage past the mainline break threshold. Another common mainline break scenario is issues with your flow sensor. If your flow sensor hasn't been installed correctly, you might have turbulence on the line. Or if you haven't installed your flow sensor with shielded cable, you might be picking up electrical interference on your wire that's showing up on your controller as flow. And if this is a new installation, never overlook the possibility that the setting for your mainline break threshold might be incorrect. If you've calculated your threshold for your largest station, but you're running 2 stations at the same time, this is an easy way for scheduled irrigation to exceed your mainline break threshold. So when troubleshooting your mainline break alert, always start by checking the irrigation system for breaks. This can be the most critical alert that the weather track system creates. Once you've double-checked and made sure the system is tight, investigate to find out if manual usage was the source of that measured usage. And if it turns out to be neither one of those things, it never hurts to double-check the calculation and the setting for your mainline break threshold. And remember that you can always contact the HydroPoint customer service team for more tips in troubleshooting your mainline break alerts.